Just a quick question, a little off the topic, and I know there's some other people now. And this came from Desmond. When a customer comes on and we assign them to the Adilas and we give them their page, is there something? Is there any document that they sign, or is there? I know there's no contracts. Is there something that they have to fill out in order to get the subscription going?
Not necessarily. What happens on that right now, we've been working on e-commerce, and what's going to end up happening. Do you want to know what happens right now or where we're headed? What would you like to know?
Well, I guess where we're headed is ultimately where we're headed. So
okay, perfect.
Yeah,
perfect.
or just maybe what's happening now and how it's going to change into the future.
Okay, perfect. So this is kind of the world-building flyer, okay? So Adilas is way up here at the universe level, and we dictate who gets to have a little bit of a world, okay? So technically a world is like a corporation, okay? So if we say world equals corp, what happens right now is somebody contacts Adilas. Joe gets a sale, he contacts Steve and says, hey, we've got a new bowling pro shop that needs to be set up. Steve or I or whomever, we go into the system, and it's literally, it takes us 10 minutes or less, you know. Click, 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 we fill in their information, and what happens is all of a sudden at the universe level, we create a new world, okay? And then in order to let this world actually happen, we have to go into the user group. Say this yellow pie piece is your user group, and we create one user, and then we tie permissions. So basically what happens is you have the person, okay? The person needs to be created as a user. The world needs to be created as your corporation. And then in order to bridge them, we create permissions, okay? This is basically how a person gets bridged to a world. And the reason that a person doesn't necessarily exist just in this world is what if you actually had multiple worlds and you needed to be bridged? See how we kind of broke it into a one-to-many relationship?
Right.
Between, like, one person could technically be assigned to multiple corporations if that was their object. But somebody else inside of the corporation might be this itty-bitty teeny little person right here, and they never can leave that world. They're kind of local to that world. All their permissions and all their stuff is right here. They don't need to be bridged to multiple worlds. Okay, does that kind of make sense?
Yes. So that, you know, you're giving the first permission to the business owner, let's say. I mean, that would be the obvious.
So all we have to do inside of Adilas is we go like this. I'm just going to grab a different little piece of the puzzle. We create this initial bridge here, and then all of a sudden they can add as many different little pieces as they want inside of their world. Virtually what happens, it just grows a little piece of their puzzle of their group. So users are one of the 12 pieces at the group level. So they could have as many users as they wanted, okay? As many items as they wanted, as many customers as they wanted, as many invoices and expenses and deposits. And there's 12 different sections almost virtually in this little thing as far as like who gets what piece of the puzzle. And depending on where you quadrant that depends on what their world is and how big it is. Is it a small world? Is it a big world? Kind of those different little pieces of the puzzle. Where we want it to head, and this is where we're hoping that it will head, is basically at the universe level, we will provide e-commerce. And so somebody will actually go onto our website, and through e-commerce, we'll just put e-com, they'll actually be able to buy a new world and set up a new user, and we'll give them a small little basic permission, okay, all through e-commerce. That's kind of where we're headed with it, so that somebody, if they're like, hey, I need a new world, we basically say, cool, if you talk to us, we can work with a rep and we can get you whatever deal you want. If you go through e-commerce, your starting value is going to be right about the $200 level, okay? So that's going to be at the e-commerce level is about $200. If you talk to a rep and you're a smaller person than that, then you're going to be able to say, hey, I'm going to slide in at the 57 or the 97 or the one, whatever. So, or, man, I got multiple locations. I need to go here and here and here. So e-commerce, where we're going to start automating some of this, we'll say you have to start at the 200 level if you're just doing it straight through e-commerce, and then we will look after a month to kind of see what your habits are, to kind of be like, how many locations do we have, and how many this, and where do we need to alter this, because we don't know if we need to alter it up or down, but we have to get a starting place. So technically, right now what's happening, and Joe, this is interesting, is right now we don't even know all of the stats as far as like what people, how big is their world? Is it just a teeny little speck, or is it a big huge one, or is it a, we start knowing just by their histories and their progress, but when you first start, you don't know how quick or how fast they're going to jump in. McCorvey's Pro Shop, guess what? At the location level, they have 30 locations. Mel and Tish, they actually have only like 3, so their world is much smaller, even though they're similar industries, and so it kind of depends on what's going on. Awesome. Did you have any other questions or anything, Joe? Sorry if I kind of sound a little nasally. It's allergy season. I'm just kind of...
No, with your nasally and my tinny laptop speakers, you sound perfect.
Perfect. That's great. That's exactly what we wanted to do. So, hey, those are great questions as far as like where we're headed and what's going on. But we're just going to keep pushing the ball forward. Right now, what it is, you go to the universe level, you talk to Steve or I, you quote the person a price for how much you told them their world is going to cost, and we say, sweet, that sounds good. We add the world, we set up the connection, and they start running. If we need to do the imports, we then help import some of that data to fill their group levels, which ends up getting cleared to the individual and data level as well. But this is the key piece that actually starts the ball rolling, is creating that virtual world for the company.
You really sound fun. I just thought maybe I could help you.
Okay.
So
Cool.
you're fine.
Hey, can we take a quick break? I've been drinking a lot of coffee.
No problem. Let's go ahead and do a quick break. That's awesome. And we will go from there.
It looks like you had, so yesterday I missed most of the afternoon, but you had quite a few people online. I saw you had 6 or 7. Was that mostly some of the students, or?
No, Santiago brought a bunch in, and then there was just some random ones, and we ended up having about 4 here local, and a couple of the guys that were rolling yesterday were some of the student interns that we've been interviewing, and it was fun to watch them just fly. They were just literally just flying super fast, and so.
Yeah, I caught a little bit when you were adding a bunch of the rock climbing gear and all that. Yeah, they were moving through it quickly.
Yeah, we did buttons and recipes and all sorts of barcoding, and like we kind of hit a bunch of things last night or yesterday evening. It kind of got it rocking and rolling. So let's go ahead and should we just do a 10 or a 15-minute break? What do you guys want?
How about 10:55 is my vote.
Okay, great.